Okay.
That you can't even see. What we're talking about here is a stripe that obviously both staff and inmates can see. So you know who the senior person is, the inmate knows who to look for, plus the new staff member that, quite honestly, is going to be fearful in some ways. It's a unique job when we're locked up with a bunch of convicted felons.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Just one question. Taking out the economic piece, because that, well, I think will be looked at together, the economics. Is there an industry standard for rank and chevrons in the corrections industry generally?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Would you, if you went to a corrections facility in New Jersey or New York or, I mean, anywhere, is there a standard? Do they, I mean, would we see that type of chevron and rank system?
I'm really not familiar with that.
Okay.
I can compare it to his military.
No, I just was curious. I didn't know if it was an industry standard. Or...
Any questions from the panel? Thank you, Sergeant.
I would next move to the next proposal, which is number 2D. We do have the slide, and just to refresh the board's recollection, there was a survey question that dealt with promotions. We go back to that one. And it sent your date of hire, have you been promoted? And you'll see that there's a large number of no's, so that was an issue that the membership, at least we felt the membership wanted us to address. So, next slide, please. In regard to longevity, there's been some discussion regarding longevity already from Dr. Amy McCarthy. What we presented to the panel in the proposal booklet are a couple things. The first thing that we've done is we've done the comparables again. And you will see in the material, you will see the longevity for the various states that we've already, that Dr. Amy McCarthy has looked at, and we provide that to the panel again. It's non-scientific, but it does show, I believe, that our proposal, it's not the highest, it's not the lowest, but it's within the realm of what other states that we believe are comparable to us are doing. After the comparables, you will find some of the history behind the lost step. Not only have you heard what happened in regard to the H-1 members, but we have put into the presentation booklet the Capitol Police Act 111 from 2003 to 2007, and you will see at page 2 that in fiscal year 2003-2004 that the Capitol Police did in fact lose a step in that Act 111. In addition to that, you will see that the Act 111 for the park officers in 2003 through 2007, there was a lost step in that award. However, as we stated before, Dr. Caldwell, at least in regard to the park officers, reinstated the lost step in the subsequent Act 111. The next arbitration award that we have in here, we think is probably the most well-written arbitration decision in the binder by far. In that decision,
that doesn't work here.
Okay. That decision was actually a grievance arbitration decision in regard to the Capitol Police, and that was.
I thought it was well argued too.
Okay. That was issued in 2006 by an excellent arbitrator. I won't give him any more credit, but in any event, the issue there was whether longevity, whether the lost step longevity for the Capitol Police would continue forever, or whether it was a one-time deal. And the arbitrator in that case said no, based upon the review of the documentation, we don't believe that it should last forever. And again, that's in there for the board's review.
Just a question about the park officers. I know you say this Caldwell restored or made up for it in the next arbitration award.
Right.
But was the issue that was arbitrated before me in the Capitol Police, was that arbitrated before for the state park officers?
No, it was not. No.
There was no grievance.
Okay.
What they're, the only unit that actually filed a grievance was the Capitol Police. And it wasn't filed until the next year.
Right.
When the Commonwealth said, oh no, this stays forever.
Okay.
It wasn't part of an $80 million deal to fund PEBTF. It's just a cost savings. So that's what it was.
So the next arbitration decision that we put in there, and really the whole purpose of having all these Act 111 or the grievance arbitration awards is to put all of this lost longevity step into context for the board. And I don't want to get into a lengthy discussion now, and I'm not going to, but it's in front of you to review so that all of the discussion, all of the comments that have been made over the last 4 days regarding longevity can be put into the proper context. Unfortunately, in regard to the PSCOA, it was a little different. And in that regard, Arbitrator Darby, in his decision that's next, really lays out the good process of laying out not only the procedural history of what happened, but the factual history of what happened, and how the deadline to secure Act 195 interest arbitration was missed by PSCOA, and because of that, there was 1 year in which there was status quo for the contract.
Right, you'd agree that the issue before Darby and the corrections officers was totally different than the issue that I had with the Capitol Police.
Exactly,
Yeah, okay.
exactly. And the issue before Arbitrator Darby was whether or not the status quo would include increases in longevity. Whether you call it a tactical error, whether you call it just a plain out bad legal error on the part of legal counsel at the time for PSCOA, our position is, however you look at that, you shouldn't penalize the H-1 members for a decision made by an attorney back in 2003 and 2004. And our position is the concept of longevity in terms of this unit, in terms of other law enforcement related issues in this Commonwealth, has always been that you move on step. So if it says after 5 years of service, you get a certain percentage, you get that percentage after 5 years of service. And that's the way longevity is supposed to work. It's not, we're going to take a longevity holiday. And again, we do not believe that this unit, the H-1 members, should be penalized for a decision, a poor decision made by previous counsel. So we are asking, let me say this, I believe that through our surveys and through the feedback we've received from our members, this is a core issue. This is one of the important core issues that we're asking this panel to address. If there's no questions regarding the longevity proposal, I will then move to proposal book.
Before you move
Sure.
to the next book, Brian, if you were going to ask any questions to clarify the proposals and all, let's do that before we go to the next.
I'll interject it.
Okay. All right.
So at this point, we would move to the next proposal booklet. Proposal book number 2, the first issue of which is life insurance. Now, if you look at life insurance, the current provision provides for a maximum of $40,000. So it's tied into pay, but it maxes out at 40. The proposal is for $100,000. We've submitted to you comparables from other states. And again, for example, you will have some that are substantially lower, some are substantially higher. We believe ours is somewhere in the middle. Life insurance, and this would be term life. And it would be, obviously, it's not tied into any killed in the line of duty, it's just pure term life insurance. In addition to the life insurance proposal, the next proposal, if there's no questions, would be...
Only, is the source documentation for the comparators in the booklet,
For the,
are they all out of, are they all bargained policies, do you know, or?
yeah, well, let me say this. Every one of the contracts for the states that we've listed, some of the provisions are in these, but if it's not, the board was provided with a copy.
Fair enough.
So Fred D'Angelo has a
Fair
copy of
enough.
all the
Fair
contracts
enough.
from all the states, so does Walt, and so does Sean.
Oh, we've got the full contracts.
From all the states, yeah.
Okay.
That was a separate binder. The next one is the health reimbursement arrangement, and I believe that Attorney Einhorn has covered that. Now, there are a number of articles that are after that.
I apologize, may I ask one
Sure,
clarification
sure.
question? On the life insurance, are you proposing to bring everyone to 100,000 or to increase the maximum to 100,000?
Increase the maximum to 100,000.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Now, the HRA, again, in addition to Attorney Einhorn's testimony, we have a number of articles that we believe will help the panel just understand not only the program or the benefit itself, but the positive effects that an HRA can have. The next proposal.
May I ask one
Sure.
question about the HRA? I was a little bit confused. Would the PEBTF administer the HRA, or would that be a separate fund that PSCOA, or we'd create a new?
I think under the IRC, it's got to be employer administrated.
Okay.
With using, I mean, they can contract out. I know in my office, we have an HRA, and we contract out for services where you send in your EOB and stuff like that. But I guess they could contract with PEBTF to administer it.
No, okay. But this would be an independent HRA program for PSCOA, not a Commonwealth-wide?
No, it
proposal.
wouldn't, it would sort of be like the one the troopers have.
Thank you.
The next proposal is number 3C, and this, again, is the health benefit program, and I think Attorney Einhorn went over this in great detail. What we do have in the book, we do have some articles regarding health insurance, but then we have all of the state, Illinois, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, what their current plans are. The next proposal would be proposal number 3D, and this is post-retirement medical. We are proposing that, not the age, and I think we clarified that earlier, but just the years of service be reduced from 20 years down to 15 years. Now, we have, within that, we have the comparables to the other states, and you can see, for example, some are after 10 years of service. And again, comparing ourselves to Illinois, Massachusetts, and the rest, it's non-scientific, but I think it gives the board a good idea of where the other states stand, and I think it shows that our proposal is a reasonable proposal in regard to how you compare it to other states. There's also a court decision in there in which PSCOA, and in particular, President Pinto attempted to challenge the reduction, but unfortunately the Commonwealth Court determined that he didn't have standing.